Yeah, so it's interesting. The same day, Dre Greenlaw, this clip comes out. He's in Denver. They have the number one defense. He's healthy. They're raving about him. They love Dre Greenlaw. Sean Payton called him Mike Tyson. He's the Mike Tyson of their defense. We know Dre Greenlaw. So he spoke to the media. Someone asked him, like, why did you choose the Broncos over the 49ers? And he said, because they really made me feel wanted. It wasn't like contingent or maybe or if that, then this will happen. No, we want you on our team. And he's like, I was a foster kid. I'm not necessarily used to people wanting me like that. So it was an easy decision. As we know, the Niners sort of hemmed and hawed, didn't really know how they felt. And then at the last minute tried to match the Broncos offer and were rebuffed by Greenlaw. What do you think?
Let's not use passive voice. They were not rebuffed. He told them, forget it.
Yeah, that's what happened.
No passive voice here. He told them, forget it. So again, it's a case of this is a really important player, Iggy.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't yet replaced him, I don't think.
No.
This is a dynamite, dangerous player who makes Fred Warner better.
Yeah.
And they couldn't work it out, so they gave him the love that he needed. Iggy, when he says he's a foster kid, I find that so touching.
Yeah.
What he was saying is, I needed someone to hold my hand psychologically, but there was no one reaching out to me.
Nope.
I mean, don't you, as if you were a coach, like Dusty Baker, when he was a manager, he knew what every player in that clubhouse needed. Mm-hmm. For the sensitive ones, sometimes he'd bring them in cake because they had a bad day the day before. Other ones he would be tough with. He told me, Lowell, I could MF people like anybody else. He told me that. But a part of being a head coach or a manager is knowing who you have, knowing how to handle them, knowing how to promote them. And clearly, Greenlaw feels they didn't, that he was a foster kid and they didn't know what he needed. That's, Iggy, that's very sad. That is very sad. And it makes me think, who is there that actually knows the players, what they need? Who's there? It doesn't sound to me, I could be wrong, it doesn't sound to me like if I had a problem, Kyle Shanahan would be the first person I'd go to.
No. And I think the reason I've always gravitated to this person is because I feel like Saleh would be that person.
I agree.
I think he has that type of emotional intelligence.
He does. He would listen to you and he would give you the correct advice and he would either be very gentle or very strong.
Right.
No, you know what I mean? Or sure, I understand. I agree with you about Saleh. He's a mensch.
He's strong yet sensitive. Like, he's a good leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I mean, it is kind of ironic. They let Greenlaw go. And I think basically they're like, look, we love Dre, but we got to make some tough decisions. And he's been hurt so much. And he's not really a great bet moving forward. I think that's kind of what they privately felt. And you know what? We'll see. Maybe they're right. It's just funny how they turn around and then then they draft Mykel Williams in round 1.
But
it's like, okay, Greenlaw, you can't rely on Greenlaw, but he's healthy and Mykel's not.
But in addition, they went after Greenlaw at the last minute.
True.
So they weren't even true to themselves.
Correct.
If the reports are right that they went and tried to match the offer, then they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't want him, then they wanted him.
Yeah.
Where do you stand? That's what I always feel about this group. What do you stand for? Who are you? Where do you stand? I knew where Bill Walsh stood. I'm sorry, I'm getting worked up. I know where he standed. But we come to a more important point. Why is it that the Niners, and I'm going to inclusive, the Niners, didn't care to keep Ward or Greenlaw, but they kept others? We both have a theory. We can't prove it. We're not saying it's fact, but we have a theory. Would you like me to say it?
Sure.
Okay. It seems to me, as an observer who doesn't go down there anymore, that there's two kind of teams there. There's the guys who were in, and they're the guys who were not in. And I never understood that. To me, you're one team. Now, I could be wrong, but this is what it looks like from an outsider who has a lot of experience at this. It seems like people who were in, Trent Williams is in, Debo was in, Juszczyk is in, and we're going to come back to him in a minute. Juszczyk is in, McCaffrey is in, Kittle is in. But there are some people who never get in. And I think Greenlaw and Ward, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they were never in. And the ownership and the coaches and the general manager treated them casually and carelessly.
I call the inner group the clique, but what they call themselves is the core. The core. And what's interesting is Juszczyk, I think he spoke yesterday. It was yesterday. And, he always people always ask him big picture questions. He's like, yeah, we lost a lot of people this offseason, but we still have our core intact. We have George, we have Christian, we have Brock, we have me, we have Nick, we have Fred, we have, Trent, Jawan. He starts naming the core. It's like, what about Greenlaw wasn't in the core? How did you get in the core, but Greenlaw wasn't? How did the guy with 200 yards a season get in the core, but Greenlaw did? Greenlaw wasn't in the Travarius Ward wasn't in the core, but the fullback was. I don't get it. Why? Because you went to Harvard? Why? Because you can do these press conferences and answer big picture questions? If I were Dre Greenlaw, Travarius Ward, I would be annoyed about that thing in particular. Like, I understand you got to pay your left tackle and your quarterback, and there are certain positions that are very important, but the fullback? What? I don't get that.
Any team that didn't consider Dre Greenlaw to be in the core needs to have its collective head examined. He was so core. And so was Ward. So was Ward.
The only reason they won a playoff game in 22, they would have lost in the first round to the Packers, but Dre Greenlaw intercepted Jordan Love 2 times in that game. Not just once, twice. And the second one ended the game. He's the reason they won that game.
Okay. I want to come back to the fullback. Juszczyk really kills me. Did he really say he was in the core, or is it possible?
He really said he was in the core, Dad. I can get the quote, but he's like, we still got this. He's me. Like, me? You?
Okay, hold on. I would like to say that I'm impartial about Juszczyk, but I really don't like him at all. And I never met him. I would never want to meet him. I don't like the guy. In Brooklyn, we'd say he's a bum. For him to consider himself the core, that's a chutzpah. In Yiddish, a chutzpah is nerve to the living end. What a nerve. Greenlaw and Ward were among the 22 best players who would start. I'm not doing special teams. The 22 best players on the team. The fullback isn't. No. Whenever he's on the field, a better player is on the sideline. If he's the core, they got a big problem. I got to tell you, Iggy. And there shouldn't be a core. It's a team.
Thank you.
The idea of, so he's not in the core, but there's no core.
There's no core.
In fact, let me tell you something. The way Bill Walsh understood it, Purdy is the core. He's the starting quarterback. Mac Jones is in the core because he may have to step up one day. And it's not going to be like, hey, you guy, you're not in the core, you're in the periphery. He's expected to win. He's in the core just like Purdy's in the core. That's how I learned football, and that's how football is. And the rest of the stuff is bullshit.
Thank you. So he's over here talking. He's done this before. He's done this all off season. If you ever ask him this question, he'll start rattling off players in the court. And the person he never mentions, as Adder Gang points out, is Brandon Ayuk. According to the 34-year-old fullback who runs the team, Ayuk isn't necessarily in the core. He'll always list 8 players and be like, I'm sure I forgot people. Yeah. You forgot the highest paid dude on the offense, the guy who's so much more important than you, Kyle. You forgot him. Every time you conveniently forget Brandon Ayuk. That's incredible. And you know what's funny too? Like, we're going to come to this guy in a minute, but Trey Lance's history with him, with the Niners, but didn't it always feel like part of the reason he never got, there was such resistance for him to play was Juszczyk and people, the core, being like, no, we like Jimmy. Jimmy's in the core. Trey isn't.
And in fact, when Trey got hurt, Iggy, correct me if I'm wrong, this Juszczyk, this Harvard grad, with pride, instead of saying, really, my heart goes out to my teammate, said, now we're going to play, Jimmy's coming back, now we're going to play 49ers football again.
Back to Niners football.
Back to Niners football. What a crummy thing to say. Yeah. Again, it excluded Trey Lance, and it by implication excluded other people.
Yeah.
There's no core. The core are the people who are on the team.
Yeah. The core is 53 people large.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a terrible, terrible attitude. Again, I used the word alarming earlier before I lost this thing. This is alarming attitude. Yeah. And you know what? The coach should tell him that. Yeah. Kyle, I'm talking to you, Kyle Shanahan. When you hear that stuff, and you must know it, you've got to call your player in and say, we're a team. We're not two teams. Don't say that anymore. Where are you, Kyle Shanahan? Where are you? You have to say that.
Yeah.
Because people in the locker room know it. They know there's two teams. This is how I look at it. Yeah. And I think some players there look at it that way. Am I in the core or not? Yeah. That's not good in a locker room. It's one locker room.
Like if you're not tight with Juszczyk and his family, then you're not in the core. That's kind of what it seems like. I got to be friends with you. I have to have your approval, 34-year-old fullback. Like, I think Dominic Pooney's more important to the team than Kyle Juszczyk. How is Pooney not in the core? Why? Because he's 24, 25? So? I think people who are 25 should be empowered to be in the core, not just a bunch of dudes in their 30s.
Iggy, I think Garendo's more important to the team than the fullback.
Let's name players who are more important than the fullback. Well, every offensive lineman.
And every tight end.
Every tight end. Every wide receiver. Mac Jones. Yeah. Mac Jones is more important to this team than Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah, and again, more, if there is a core, which it shouldn't be, more entitled to be in the core than the fullback. And look, if it sounds like we're going after the fullback unfairly, I think it's fair. I think he shouldn't say things like that. And I think he shouldn't say things like that. And if he didn't say he's in the core, then I apologize. But if he did, it's not right. Someone should tell him not to do it. Yep. It's not how you represent a team.
That's right. Oh, we lost Dre Greenlaw and Tavarius Ward, but they weren't in the core anyway.